What's up guys, ATCG here, and today we have a Banlist prediction video. The Banlist is right about the corner, and we thought that we'd share our thoughts with you on what Konami is probably going to do, not what it should do, but whatever. So first thing we need to discuss is about Firewall and Summon Sorcerers. These two are not going to get banned for several reasons. Firewall mainly for its blood armor from Yugioh Reigns, and Summon Sorcerers because she's now getting released in Soul Fusion Special Edition, so they want to keep her for at least one more format because they want to sell it. So we have to adapt to these two not getting banned and address the rest of the format accordingly. So for banned cards, first up we have the 5 burn cards. This includes the 3 Cannon Soldiers, Amazoness Archer, and Shadow Priestess of Home. The FTKs, if Firewall has to stay, then these cards need to go, because Firewall generates infinite loops with these cards. We also need to include another burn card, which is the Flare Metal Dragon. This card became part of another FTK with Gel and Duo, and it's another card that can infinitely burn your opponent, so it might become a problem in the future as well, so we need to address this card as well. And now for the rest of the format, we need to hit the cards that make extra links and hand loops very possible. And the first card is Gambler. This card, 4-card hand loop is very easy with Go keys, and not just Go keys, like even Dark Warrior can pull it off. And including Aqua Dolphin, sometimes you can even loop your opponent's entire hand. And with the new Space Connector coming out, this will be an even easier task. Now for Goki, the best card I think, in my opinion, that would address the extra link is banning Nightmare Mermaid. This card, it's the first trigger of Firewall when you use the Nightmare pointing next to him to link away for Nightmare Mermaid, and it also gives you another monster from your deck. Without her, Ibli is not even worth running in the deck, and the down arrow is what makes the extra link very possible. I mean, without her, Link Kuribo and maybe Undercloak Taker would be the only options you have for arrow pointing downwards. So without Mermaid, it makes the extra link a lot harder to pull off. The next card is Tomahawk. With the introduction of Danger Dogman, this card became a lot easier to summon, and in the Danger FTK, this card generates the Firewall FTK with giving you so many tokens, and it gives you a lot of options. If your opponent, like Impermanent, since you're Firewall, you can just make Unicorn with the rest of the tokens, bounce it back and summon it again, and continue with your play. The next card is Rongo. Rongo Minion is a very oppressive card. It becomes a lot more relevant like with every card that gets announced. The new 6 Samurai Link got announced, and it makes it so that you can either FTK or make this card very easily. So not being able to play is not something that Yu-Gi-Oh should be about, so that's why this card needs to go. And the last card is Soul Charge. Soul Charge is another win button that when your opponent has disruption for you and you have this card in your hand, you pretty much don't care, because you can like get 3 hand drops in the face, and if you have Soul Charge, you can just bring back everything you lost and continue with your combos. I know these are a lot of banned cards, but if we have to keep Firewall and Summon Sorcerers in the meta, then all of these cards need to go for the meta to be healthy. Now for the limited cards, we have Armageddonite, Grepher, and Vion first of all. All of these 3 serve the same purpose, dumping malicious to the grave. I don't think these should get banned, because that's like very collateral damage for Firewall. So I think limiting them is just enough. Running 4 with Reinforcement of the Army instead of 10 in any deck that can FTK or just do any broken combos with Assault is so much more inconsistent and will hurt a lot if they get hand trapped or if you draw a Malicious. And the last card I want limited is Multi-Roll. Multi-Roll is the card that pretty much makes Sky Strikers the most grindy deck of the format. You can make your plays uninterrupted, and during each end phase, even during your opponent's end phase, you can set back all the resources you set to have a play for the next format, for the next turn, sorry. So if with a 1 multi-roll gets Ghost Ogred, then you might have to recycle it with Kagari, so it will slow down your plays a little bit. And if it's at 1, you don't have the plays where you can just take control of your opponent's monsters by hard drawing this and sending to the graveyard, because if you have to search it, then your opponent might have a Colossal on the field and you won't be able to. So that's another thing. And now for the semi-limited, first card is obviously Malicious. This card was semi-limited in the past and it has to get semi-limited again. It's a very powerful card. If you have the Grepher or the Armageddonite, it's a one card FTK, and it's not just for the FTK. Malicious generates extra links and Gambler hand loops. Now I think limiting it would be way too much because it would make its effect pretty much irrelevant. So yeah, I think semi is just fine. With limiting the 3 dumpers and semi-limiting Malicious, I think it hits the consistency enough so that you don't have a play every single game. Next up, semi-limiting, for Sky Strikers we have Encore and Kagari. Encore is pretty much the power play of the deck. Engage is a broken card technically, but it's as broken as the cards it searches. So semi-limiting Encore makes you more reluctant on whether you want to reset it with your multi-roll because it will get banished afterwards and then you won't have infinite plays. And semi-limiting Kagari limits the deck's options because you cannot, during the first stage of the game, you cannot just go mindlessly into Kagaris and then run out of plays in 2 or 3 turns. And you will also have to search Hercules base a lot earlier if you want to have the plays to keep up in the late game with having only 2 Kagaris in your extra deck. Now for Altergeists, we have Multifaker and Meluseek. Just semi-limiting Multifaker would not be enough. I mean, the OCG didn't do anything. Altergeist is still very powerful. Meluseek is just as powerful because it's the only go second play that Altergeists have, and it searches any of your monsters. And including 1-for-1, it's running 1 more copy, so it's a very good card. Altergeists is pretty much the worst deck of the format considering tier 1, so that's why it doesn't need to get hit that much like compared to the other decks, but it still needs to be addressed so that we don't have any unexpected Altergeist wins in YCS. And the last card is Gold Sarcophagus. Gold Sarcophagus at 2 would pretty much not change anything about Thunder Dragons. It's just a slap in the wrist so that Thunder Dragons know that they're next, probably. Unless they get overcurved by something else, but we can't know that. So yeah, just a fair warning for Thunder Dragons that they're probably gonna get hit next. For Unlimited, I don't have anything specific. I don't think that there's anything worth bringing back at 3. I do have some cards that I think Konami should bring back, but Konami TCG policies, they never bring back cards from 0 to 3 right away. They always limit them first, then they go to 2, and then they go to 3 if they end up not being an issue. So yeah, first card's Construct. The OCG has proven that Xydolls are way past their prime. They're not a problem anymore. And yeah, I think limiting her first, then they will go to 2, then probably go to 3. Yeah, they even have, in the OCG they even have 2 Super Polys and the deck is still not doing anything. So I don't think there's a problem with bringing her back. Next card is Shurit. Again, another example from the OCG. Necros, they even have 2 Bryonax and 3 Shurits, and they haven't had the Dijin lock, and the deck is still not doing anything, so why not give us back Shurit? It will probably be worth bringing it back just to make sure that some Necros players get some love. And the last card is Drident. This one's a little bit controversial, but I think Drident was never the problem, at least not at 1. The problem was Broadbull, because you could search like all your Beast Warriors, you can do the Luna Light combo with a Fusion Substitute play. Broadbull was always the issue. It doesn't have to be Drident. Drident was broken when you started bringing her back with Chakanine and you ended up with 2 or 3 Dridents on the field. So just 1 Drident would give Zodiac some breathing space to pretty much be able to contend with the rest of the meta. It still wouldn't be tier 1, but it would be a nice addition for the deck because Zodiac right now is absolutely crippled and it can't do anything unless you play a very stunned version. So yeah, that's it for the Banlist prediction. If Konami is not going to ban Firewall and Summon Sorcerer, that's pretty much confirmed by now, but we need to think outside of the box and pretty much address the format in a way that will make every deck playable, but not a single deck broken, and that's pretty much what I tried to do with this Banlist prediction. So yeah, leave us your thoughts in the comment section below and tell us what you think should happen, or if you think Firewall or Summon Sorcerers should get banned. Actually, not should, but of course they should get banned, but if you think they will get banned for whatever reason, then let us know. Thank you for watching. See you next time.